You have to put the work in order to be great. Identify and communicate a certain type of content that's going to separate me from this team, that team over there. Like,
it's not just about the skill level anymore. You can be the most talented person in the world. If nobody knows that you're doing it, it means nothing.
All our kids, we teach them off the field like it's about just...
Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Creator Podcast. I am your host, Justin Berry. And today I got a special one, man. I know that I've known this guy for 20 plus years now. I mean, we sandbox with it. Yes, but I invited him out. I wanted him to come on. One, for, this audience to kind of get a feel for what my conversations with my friends look like. But also, he's got a lot of value to add. He has, a track record of social media expertise. He's worked in various industries such as fashion and music. And now he's coaching. He's coach of an elite football program here in Las Vegas. And so I'm excited to have him. I introduce to you all Mark Wilkins. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, bro?
My guy.
Appreciate you for having me, dog. It's a blessing to be here, man. Y'all do some incredible work.
My guy.
What's up?
I want to tell a little story just before we even get into any type of topics or things that we're going to talk about, because as I made my transition from Chicago to Las Vegas in 2018, I had to rely heavily on your help with what we had experienced. For those of you that are hearing this story for the first time, in 2018, this Justin guy who was, an athlete, played college ball and spent a good portion of his life playing basketball. Yeah. Played in a game back home that ended up getting a serious injury. I actually completely ruptured my patella tendon, to the point to when it happened, I can feel my kneecap in my thigh area. All right. And so this happened at a game that was hosted by my guy for
raising money. We was trying to raise some money, man, but I didn't think nothing like this was going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, usually, and the reason I decided to even play in that game was because we were about 2 weeks away from moving to Las Vegas, and I was preparing to start the police academy.
Yeah, we literally was going back same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had already lived here. He had been here a couple of years, but I was planning on going into the police academy, and so I was trying to stay in shape, right? Like that's what the whole goal was. But I ended up tearing that patella tendon, and it got really stressful around that time for the family. But my wife, Ashley, as strong as she was, took the drive by herself, came up, and got everything handled here in Las Vegas. But I was super grateful for you at that time. And I don't even know if we talked about it before, but I was extremely grateful for you at that time because you really stepped in and helped out a lot with what she needed. Mm-hmm. I know by the time she got here, she was standing up to stop the brakes on in the car.
Oh, man.
And I remember I was literally right after the surgery, I was laid up, still drugged up, and I'm listening to you tell me, bro, you got to do something with these brakes because the car ain't going to stop. But you helped out with that. You helped out with, transitioning all of our stuff and moving some of our stuff. So again, I say thank you for that, for sure. Yeah. It was a moment where I'm like, I never doubted that you would help because you've been this has been my guy forever. But I was like, these are the times where it's like important to have that friendship and that family that's really going to look out for you. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to, text your family, text your friend and let them know you love them for that, for just being there for you. But Las Vegas has been good to me, right? Like up until about 2020, it was a little stressful, right? We were just trying to figure things out. I ended up working for an armored truck company and just to make money. But there was always something, that we had that it was kind of unique to our relationship, and it was on that creative side. Yep. At the time you were running a clothing company, running your own business, and that was something that like you always heard me ask a lot of questions, like trying to figure things out, because I did want to also, that was my plan. Like I want to have my own business. I want to operate as my own person. Like this getting up and going to work for pennies was like not the move. This is not why I moved to Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Right. And you kind of gave me a lot during that time and allowed me to see both the good and the bad of the entrepreneur experience. Yeah. Speak a little bit about how you yourself had come into wanting to be an entrepreneur and just knowing that you wanted to be your own boss.
It started, of course, after sports, right? I kind of, after I was done playing, like I knew it. I hung the shoes up. It was like 2013, right before Zai was born. I was like, bro, I'm not trying to wake up at 6 a.m. to go hoop and then do it again at 5.
Right.
It was over with. My love for
2 days is over with.
Yeah, my love for basketball was done. So, Zai was born, and I'm like, all right, but I still want to be around the game and learn it from the back end. Like all these people seeding and sending us product. Hey, post this on your Instagram. I'm like, what the hell? What is this about?
Right.
So, but let me learn it. So I hit up my contacts at Nike. A lot of them was at Nike basketball at the time, and it was like, yo, how can I help you guys do what you were doing for me, but for my other contacts? And it was like, all right, well, we'll show you the ropes. Just give us a contact list. That's where it started. Mm-hmm. They left, went to Finish Line, and then I went to Finish Line as well. So Finish Line is now JD Sports, and I was doing product placement, creative strategist, and I was basically the influencer list for Finish Line from 2016 all the way to 2020, right before COVID, just giving product out, getting it posted. Yeah. And I saw that on the back end. I was like, well, in the midst of all that, I'm like, man, but I still love clothes and shoes. Let me create my own sneaker. Let me create my own clothing line. Let's get something to the people that's like following me and, supporting me. I always, since high school, bro, we paint Air Force One, airbrush shirts. We was always like entrepreneurs and creating our own lane and wave of fashion. So, but it was like, okay, how can I do this on a bigger scale? Move to the West Coast, and I saw like, oh man, I got access to LA. I can go get shirts done. I can get this printed. I can make sneakers. I can do whatever I want out here, and that kind of like propelled me into the whole space of being like the entrepreneur in that fashion world. Yeah.
No, man, I don't want to rush through it because you all heard quite a few things that I want to point out. First, that contact list, right? Like this is important for every creator out there to understand. Like there are opportunities to monetize the moment you start growing an audience, whether that audience is 2,000 people or 20,000 people. Like you have that opportunity, right? And then as you begin to grow, you'll start to see individuals that are working in those strategic positions go, hey man, can I offer you this product to promote? Yeah. Can I pay you to do this? Can I pay you to do that? And I think like for me, when I was watching you do it, I'm like, okay, this is a light bulb moment for me, right? Like it's not just about like the skill level anymore. Mm-hmm. You can be the most talented person in the world. If nobody knows that you're doing it, it means nothing, right? And let me not say it doesn't mean anything. It means that you're not necessarily like excelling to your full potential. Yeah. Right? You have the potential to do so much with creating awareness for your talent, your gift, and whatever your product would be. You're just not doing it, right? And so I want to encourage any creator that's second guessing, like you've been in it for a little while and you're trying to grow that audience, you're second guessing it, like the opportunities will come. How did you gain an understanding of how that works, essentially, right? Where you was like, okay, I can create these contacts, network with these individuals, and then begin to kind of usher them into positions and roles and different opportunities.
Starting obviously going out and living in LA at the time. That's when I came to Vegas 2015, moved to LA, and it was one of those things where the group of friends that I had was definitely played a major part in it, which is key. Everybody said the circle that you keep, right? The company that you keep is huge. It determines your success and the resources you have. You know what I'm saying?
Show me your friends. I'll show you your future.
There you go. So for me, it was like, all right, the rooms that I was in, I was only the creator. I was not an actor. Mm-hmm. I was not on TV. I was not a rapper. I didn't sing. I didn't compose music. I knew music, but I didn't compose it. I wasn't a producer. I didn't make beats. I didn't have a camera. Right. Like we knew how to use a camera, but I didn't have one. But what I had was, I could work a room, I could talk to people, and I was a creative. Like if I'm on a movie set or a TV commercial, we did commercials, and it's like, have them come from this way versus that way. Or have them wear this shirt versus that because the color contrast. Like that's what I offered. And it was like, man, this dude, you clever in this way. So like, how can I take this and teach other people or show other people through social media? And I always had an open door for that. Because they were like, yo, bro, how did you do that with Finish Line? That Migos commercial was sick. Like, what was flew out to Under Armour and like kind of gave them sauce for it, right? You pay for it, but it was just like, I don't have to work for a company to give you that type of valuable information on how to create something dope. Something cool for your audience.
No, I love that because what I hear when I hear that story is that you don't have to always be in front of the camera to be a huge part of the success of it. Right. And I that's my role that I took for the last 3 years up until we started Wealthy Creator and I started branding myself as an individual. That my role was behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Like, how can I help this individual grow their platform as far to its fullest potential, whether it comes from like the different angles, the different compositions, to the lighting, to like it was all on the production side of it. And you were doing the same thing. You were just behind the scenes, kind of moving as a director in sorts of all these different, sets. So that's good to hear. And I hope that people find motivation in that are trying to struggle with their own branding. Because I do believe that that being in front of the camera is not for everyone. I do believe that podcasting is not for everyone.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine.
But you fit in somewhere. Yeah. You just have to find where it works for you. Yeah. Hey, let's take a break really quick. I just wanted to let you know that we just launched something new that I'm extremely excited for. It is our new text hotline. It is now easier than ever to get in touch with Ryan Pineda himself or anyone from his team. Whether you need help with real estate or content creation or just general entrepreneurship, you text this number and someone from our team will get in touch with you to provide what it is that you need. If you've ever watched our content and thought to yourself, I want to work with them at any capacity, here's easy access and a very efficient way to get in touch with someone from our team. We have everything from courses to Q&As to live events, and we want to make it as easy as possible for you to have access to them. So just text the number 725-444-5244 and get in touch with us. Now let's get back to it. As a part of Wealthy Creator, one of the things that I teach on is figuring out, is this even what you want? Yeah. Right? Because we get a lot of people that come in and are like, I know it's vital for me to get on social media, to get on these platforms and promote my business. Definitely. Right? But does it have to be you? Would always be a question that I would present. Yeah. And if it's not you, where else do you fit in? Like, where else do you fit in that process? Because there's creative ways to promote your brand without you having to do a talking head video and looking into the camera and uncomfortable.
Brother. Always ways to promote for little to no money. Mm-hmm. People say, hey, we got to do ads, you got to run this. Like, it's ways to do other things to get you out there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, like, my most successful times in life, whether it was the shoes or with Finish Line or creating my brand or consulting another brand or now to the youth sports, it was no negotiating. I set goals and I never negotiated with myself. I never looked in the mirror and was like,
yeah, that's good.
Hey, man, you had that goal. You want 1,000 kids at a camp. Let's push it down to 800. No, bro, you set a goal. Don't negotiate with yourself. Yeah, hit that goal and break through it, and then set a new one and break through that one. But never negotiate with your goals. Mm-hmm. Like, that's one thing that's like unacceptable. And
I'd even encourage people to exaggerate the goal. Yeah. Right. I mean, like for myself, this 2024, I've exaggerated what my goals are. Mm-hmm. All right. I've exaggerated what type of house I want. Yep. I've exaggerated what I want to see for the Wealthy Creator community. I've exaggerated what I want to see for the Justin Berry brand. Like, I've exaggerated because again, you shoot for the stars and land on the moon. Like, you're still winning. It's still a win, right? Bro. And so I never feel like I failed if I don't reach the goal because I know what I set for myself, right?
That's the word. Exaggerate those goals, bro. It's nothing no one can tell you. That's too high. If they're telling you your goal is too high, they shouldn't even be around you realistically. Like,
that's not your friend. That's not your supporter.
No, but don't negotiate with yourself because the next person said, oh, I want two. You at 150 followers right now. You want 2,000 by the end of 2020. Right. That's it. That's your goal.
Go get it.
We're gonna go get that. Yeah. Like, that's it. From stories back when we hooped, like, we knew we wanted to go to college before we even had our freshman year. It's like, yo, we going to college to play.
All right, we playing ball.
We're getting paid to go to these schools.
Yeah.
Ain't no negotiating that. And that's just a product of where we was from. But like, that applies to everything in life that we do after that.
Yeah, and I think that is an advantage of athletes and sports is that you get that drive from that, and you know what it means to set a goal and go after it too. Not that you can't from not playing sports, but I tend to see that a lot of people that are successful, a lot of them have some background in competition somewhere.
Something.
Right. And I think the competing isn't just with, the other person. You're competing with yourself
look
most
at
of the
car salesman. Yeah. They got that chart in that room, that whiteboard. Yeah. Every dealership. So-and-so name up. Hey, he got you by 5. Yeah. All right. Well, it's some sort of, none of them dudes could ever step on a field, a court, something.
Yeah.
But it's some competition there.
Bro, the same goes for the creative space. Like when I first do my first call with one-on-one with someone, one of the first things I ask them is, okay, who's your competition? And then they kind of go, what do you mean by that? Right? Like, I'm not in competition
with nobody.
I'm like, no. You need to have who your competitors are, which that just may mean that those are the individuals that you're inspired to be.
Yep.
Right. So like I know who is in the content creation education space who I'm inspiring. Like, okay, I'm watching them and I'm like, okay, they took this path. This is what they've done. This is where I'm trying to, right? Like I know that because I look at them like a competitor, right? So maybe they come up with something creative. I'm like, oh, that's kind of tight.
That's healthy.
I'm going to do either one or two things. I'm going to jack it and recreate it to be mine, or I'm going to try to figure out, okay, how can I make that even better and come up with something new and fresh for people, right? Like you got to know who your competitors are and create that competition in your own mind. It reminds me of like, The Last Dance, right? Where they talked about how MJ created things in his mind when he knew that, this game was not going to be a tough game to play, right? Like
little things that fuel the fire.
Your opponent doesn't even know that you're driven from something that they've done or said, right? Like he doesn't even know. He's sitting in the locker room with a baseball bat, creating in his mind what this person said to him or what this person did to him, just to give himself that extra edge. And to me, like that's a way of life. Like that's a lifestyle that you have to garner in order to get to that, those next levels. So it's really cool. Going back though, I want to know at what point in your experience, because you were like one of the early people that was like really into that social media and growth, right? At what point or what happened that made you realize, okay, the way I get to where I'm trying to go, I have to build this platform for myself?
Late 2015, this wasn't even the peak. Like the peak of social media, I think is like,
it's a little bit later
right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we in it.
Yeah.
So like I was up the climb and it's like, man, you getting on cars and you like seeing like Selena Gomez, all these people. And it's like, bro, his product placement was the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. She got this X amount of followers, this. So at that time, the time of that era was all about following.
Mm-hmm.
Less about, you didn't know, okay, no algorithm. Instagram didn't come out with algorithm. JB, you post at 11 and I pick up my phone at 11:02.
Yeah.
You the first post that I see.
Right.
So at the time, it was about how can I get more followers? What do I have to do to get more followers? And then at the time, it's like, okay, you got to be places. You got to be everywhere, be with everybody. I got to take pictures. I'm not a picture. I don't want to be in everybody's picture, but to separate myself to know, like I knew like, okay, I have to start creating better content, meaning like my pictures just can't be a picture. I can't just say, oh, my acai bowl, oh, I'm drinking tea at this shop. No, like create, I was in a sneaker world too, right?
Yeah.
We was heavy in the sneakers. So like, let me pull out some rare kicks. Right. Let me take some kicks and make some stuff that Jordan Brand ain't done. Let me shake the internet. Right.
All right.
So how can I shake the internet? How can I make a couple people stop breathing real quick? And that was my mindset. I mean, like you, bro, from you name it. Shatter backboard, low, Jordan 1, painted.
Yeah, Jordan. I
mean, like we can go on and on. That's another story. But this is how I was able to separate myself on social media.
Okay.
Coming from a basketball space, like, right, I played, that was cool. That's a different audience, but it's like, man, like this is like where the shakers and movers at is in this space. Like social media was not where it is today, but how can I separate myself, bro? I'm gonna make some people stop breathing with some of these designs and go from there.
And I think the key to the whole thing is how do you separate yourself from everybody that's in the same lane? Yep. From everybody that's doing some of the same things.
So many people making shoes, customizing, but I wasn't a customizer. To me, I was a designer, bro.
Right.
Bring me out to Portland.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to sit down in Portland. I don't want to keep buying Angela's paint. I'm not a painter.
Right.
Don't send me y'all shoes. I'm not painting those shoes. I'm creating product that people want. And I wasn't selling it. That was the thing. I was not selling anything. When I made something, I think you the only person that ever got.
Yeah, I still got some.
Yeah, you the only person that ever got something that was like, yo, how can we battle?
Dude, I still get questions. I wear certain things and I'm like, they still go, I haven't seen those. I'm like, I know.
So for me, it was like, all right, you just got to create something that have everybody, movie stars, rappers, you name it.
Yeah.
The youth pastors, right? Because they be dressing.
It's all marketing. It's all marketing.
Dressing too. It's all marketing for $0. It's just something that's gonna make people send this thing around everywhere.
Yeah, and I love that because like that is a part of the system and learning how to operate a business on social media, figuring out how you can make a moment. Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. Right. Like you was like, I'm going to, I'm going to shake the world up by releasing something rare.
Yeah.
Right. That's how you was finding or something customized to you, something designed by you. That's how you were finding your way of growth because people were like, I haven't seen this before, this dude. And truthfully, it's partly entertaining. It's partly educational, but the value is, he just took something that was over there and just redid it for him. Now that's become a normal thing, right? Like now I look at how some high schoolers dress and some things like this, like they're just putting pieces together that make them feel good, right? Which I always encourage, like if you feel good about it, then go for it, right? But I say that to say like there's opportunities now for you to get creative and grow an audience from just how you feel and from doing something that makes you feel good. So that the moment, right? People talk about being viral and having virality in your social media. And there's two things, right? Because I don't sell views. And I don't teach views. I don't teach viral. Like there's coaches, and I can refer you to coaches if you're out there and you're looking to be
how to go viral.
If that's what you want to do, I can get you to who you need to talk to. But I'm not the individual that does that. You're going to get views with me for sure. But what you're going to get even further is a customer, a supporter, a fan, right? Like that's my goal. I want to get somebody that's going to stay with you no matter what you're selling, no matter what you're offering, no matter what value you're giving. That's my whole goal. So when we're asked about, being viral and trying to get more views, the first thing I go is like, what are you doing that's different? What are you doing that's different from your agent that works underneath you? What are you doing that's different from the individual that you following, right? Like your feed all looks the same right now because you're following the same type of creators and then you're going right behind them and doing the same thing, right? You haven't created anything to kind of separate yourselves. I want to talk a little bit about Cat Williams.
Okay.
All right. Because a month or so ago, he created a moment on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast, where, it literally stepped on every other piece of news
that was going on
in pop culture.
The people were saying, just give him the year, bro.
Bro, they didn't. Think about it. A Dave Chappelle special came out. And no one talked about it. No one talked about it. We're talking about the best, like one of the greatest comedians ever puts out a special that has done numbers every single time and gone viral every single time. And no one talked about it because of Cat Williams' interruption on that episode. But I don't want to talk about what he did or what he said. Like, I don't care about that. I truly believe that he knew the moment was happening. And that he knew how to create it, right? Whether that was creating conflict or not, he knew that this was an opportunity to create this moment. How would you advise people to recognize when that moment can happen for themselves?
Honestly, it's about the platform. And we know Cat been saying being Cat the whole time. But he knew one of the biggest podcasts out. And he said it in the interview. He said, this is going to do numbers. Because he know what eyes was on it, right? He knew what type of people was going to see this. So let me speak my truth. And that's another thing. It's about speaking the truth. It ain't about, let me get on the camera and say a bunch of things. Because dude, Google is crazy. I can look up anything right now. Anything you say, we can figure it out. So it's like when you know that moment is there, based on the platform you have, if somebody invites you on a podcast or even if you go to a conference, anything, you got some questions to ask, use the floor and make it worth it because those moments don't come as often as people think.
Right.
And how to like I said, when you recognize it by the rooms that you are in, the time you're given to talk, a lot of people, I always tell people, tell the kids, yo, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to be listening more than we are speaking. But when the time comes, you'll know. Raise your hand and the floor is yours, or they'll invite you in that space. But when it comes, you'll know it. Just capitalize on that.
Yeah, no, I love that because it's important. It's important to recognize it when it's happening and when you have that opportunity, because a missed opportunity can be a huge missed opportunity for the business, right? And it's funny, I've seen, creators and different individuals, even just guests at our events, right? At either WealthCon or one of the wealthy workshops that we run. They get the opportunity to ask their question and then the question isn't necessarily either relevant, or I was like, you took that opportunity to ask that question, like a question that you already knew the answer to, right? Like it would be like me going to sit down with Ryan, right, who is an expert entrepreneur, real estate investor. He has he's checked a lot of boxes as far as what he's a professional. And me being with him full time and never asking a question.
Nah, you just work, you just moving around.
Like I'm wasting the opportunity, right? Like I'm wasting the opportunity. There's always a question to be asked. Now, how I ask the question determines how it will perform when I release the video of me asking that question, right? So rather than me going, hey, Ryan, it's 2024. We're getting ready to head into the second quarter. What would you suggest a new real estate agent do or investor do for the upcoming quarter? Rather than me asking a question in that format where it's just straight to the point, where he's going to give me a straightforward answer, I go, hey, Ryan, we're coming to the end of this first quarter. We're getting ready to head into the second quarter, and projections are saying that everything is going to decrease. We're looking at another market crash. What are your thoughts on that?
Now he's giving you.
Now there's a collaboration on something that's already trending, something that's already relevant, something that's already out there and being talked about, right? Because if I ask it the simple way, then, all right, if I'm scrolling and I'm following your page, I might just go right past that. Rather than making it enticing on stuff that I've been seeing in my feed anyway, right? It's just like taking something from the news and talking about it, right? You got creators that just really just report the news all day.
In their own way.
And they get millions of views because there's individuals that just come into them for news, right? But you got to take advantage of those opportunities. And so it's important to recognize when you have that. The same thing goes for a podcast, right? Before every podcast, I sit down with the guest and I go, all right, what's going to be our hook? What are we going to do to get people attracted to this episode specifically? What are we going to talk about, right? And these are those kind of things where you can kind of determine what will come from it, right? It's very important to the process, right? Don't go into these conferences and these events or these podcasts completely blind about who you're sitting down with. Go into it thinking, my plan is to bring this up at some point, and when the opportunity presents itself, I got to make sure it hits.
Just information, like be aware, like have the information, like do the work, like put the work in to be prepared. Like, it's just about being prepared for that moment. Go over your questions several times. You in a conference, I know if I'm want to raise my hand or not. So like know your question, like just be as prepared as you can be going into these rooms and to these places. Just ready for that opportunity. Yeah, no, that's good. Word of advice for sure. Before we get back into this episode, I have a message for any entrepreneur feeling lost in their business. Even after hours of education, YouTube videos, and PDF guides, you're still finding yourself wanting actionable advice and community that understands what you're going through. And right now, you may be considering joining a coaching program or a mentorship, but the price tag on those in-depth programs really have you hesitant. What if I told you there's a bundle that's specifically designed for you and where you're at in your journey? This bundle gives you everything that you're craving, whether it's education, community, or one-on-one help, but it won't break the bank. Imagine having access to the proven Wealth Builder course or tickets to our events like WealthCon, where 1,000 entrepreneurs meet to network and build together. And even better, you get Q&A from our visionary, Ryan Pineda, every week, where you get to ask your questions directly. This is an avenue for you to get in proximity with Ryan Pineda and the rest of his team, including myself. And while you'll get much more with that bundle, it's only $97. So if you're interested, visit wealthyuniversity.com and let's grow together. Now, Marky, you have shifted from the brand strategist, social media, director. You had this all in a bit of your bubble, creating your own space and your own lane for yourself, whether it was clothing or social media or any kind of media of that sort. And now you've kind of made a shift. Yeah, huge.
A huge shift. Whereas now, I go to just check your social media and I ain't seeing my boy there no more like that, right? I'm seeing all old photos. Stuff look bad now because our quality has increased so much. But I can see from a bio that I can go somewhere else and I see that you're doing major things in the community here in Las Vegas for our youth. Tell me a little bit about making that transition. Was it tough to go from let one thing go and go to the next thing?
Yeah, to walk, and then I'm saying I'm walking away from. Don't ever get it twisted. I got we talked off camera, some stuff.
Yeah.
We working on fashion wise. Like, I ain't never leaving.
Yeah.
But to become to go in the youth space, right? Like I've always worked, back home in Chicago, worked in the group homes. When I lived in Houston, worked for the Y. I was a PE teacher out there in between, like going to play ball, jobs like that on the side. But I've always had a passion for youth development. But then, like I said, when Zah was born, I thought, man, my sons are gonna be hoopers. They're gonna be jumping. They picking up that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of
all
course.
us think as hoopers, right?
Of course.
He picked that football up, and I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I played a little bit.
I know a little bit.
I played at Hillcrest, right? We played a little bit at Hillcrest, but I'm like, man, this boy's serious.
Yeah.
Pick it up, we start flag, and then it just take off, right? Like you remember we was 2018, 17. They was playing little flag, and it just kind of grew, and it hit me again. Like now, my natural instincts to the social media kicked in. And I was like, man, I gotta rebrand this thing because it's growing too quick. We winning too many games. The parents started asking, hey, where you get this? So I was like, all right, now we gotta brand this thing out right. That's when we came up, with Nike Dark Side, right? Yeah, and that shift was hard because at this whole process, I'm learning the game of football way more in depth. Like I was a receiver, I played a little bit linebacker, but like I really got to learn this game because I'm the head of the snake.
Right.
So you got to be able to talk this language to kids. Right. They was at the time 4 or 5, but now
as it grows,
they're 11, 12, 10. So it's like you got to be able to speak that language and know some ball, and so that shift from my space of being in fashion and industry, the pace wasn't a problem because like that pace, like what you doing, like you're saying, you might have 52 assignments for your team. Y'all knock out 75 of them.
Right.
Then the next day it's about keeping that productivity high.
Yep. So
like I was used to a fast paced environment, so I'm like, oh, this cool. I'm good. But like actually developing kids from different backgrounds was like, all right, that was the wake up call. Like, how can I manage this one over here? Then I got this kid. So it was a shift. It was a crazy shift, but man, I enjoy it, bro.
Yeah.
This ride is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we on a crazy run and the ride is beautiful, bro.
Yeah, I do. It's funny how God works though, because if you were coach of Nike Dark Side in Chicago, you're dealing with pretty much one culture. There's one, like, you know what I mean? There's one ethnic group in that area that you would be dealing with. And in Vegas, it's a melting pot, right? Like there's some of everything everywhere based on, give or take circumstances, right? Yeah. And so the reason why I said is wild to see how God works is because as you went to college, as you played ball in college, as you lived in Houston, as you lived in LA, as you moved around to all these different places, you've gotten all these different experiences of different cultures and different ethnic groups, which essentially led you to this situation now where you're helping so many different youth
people from different backgrounds, like
different circumstances, all those different elements to what it takes to actually build a good program, especially in a community of this sort. And I noticed it when this was 2019 or so, before it was actually Nike Dark Side. I was like, oh man, like he's got some. I'm like, this little dude, this little Samoan on the team, he already looked like an 8th grader walking out here. Yeah. I'm not even sure that he can, like some of these guys, they can't even speak clear English, right? But they're playing ball, like they. And they were receptive to what you were saying too, right? Like they were under you. So I was like, okay, he's building something bigger than just this is my son's team and I'm going to coach this one team.
Oh yeah, daddy ball coaches. I'm a dad coach. Like, my son, if you don't, this is another conversation. You already know how I am. If you don't perform, I'm never going to go home. If you say, Dad, I ain't coming to practice, guess what? You're not playing Saturday.
Right.
This program was made for you, by the way. But you're not even bigger than this program. Let me remind you that always.
Yeah.
Same thing in life. Like, bro, you have to put the work in order to be great. And this applies to my son all the way down to the newest kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to change, bro. I'm holding everybody accountable, and parents has to do the same thing.
Yeah, and what that is teaching them now is what they're going to need to know for later.
Yep.
right? Like there's been individuals, even here at Pineda Company and even under the Wealthy Creator umbrella, we've had individuals come in, learn from us, and then the moment that they think they got all of the education that they need to be able to go do it themselves, they take that leap and jump and try to go do it.
Yes.
And then they realize that, oh, wait a minute, like this isn't necessarily what I thought.
The grass ain't all, what they say?
The grass ain't always green
on that other side.
Some of the stuff that I didn't know that guy was doing in that office, I now have to do. Yeah. And then it's a different conversation, right? And the same thing goes for, youth sports. It's the exact same thing. Like you're yes, Zane, all your Z's. This is a father of 4 now, which is
we got like 5 Z's, including the German Shepherd.
Including like it's insane. But like what was just I'm the coach of him and I'm trying to raise him and coach him up to be something. Right. You're now a father to hundreds.
And that's what the hardest part of that, to back to the question, the hardest part is the transition is that a lot of kids come from different backgrounds, whether it's a single mom or a dad that's their single dad. It's like, I got a friend, which is different from me.
Right.
A dad that's raising his own kids, and I seen the struggles of what they got to go through. A auntie that got the kids. Yeah. So it's like no dad or mom is around. So it's like, bro, I can do the best is like giving them valuable information. I'm gonna teach you how to run routes. I'm gonna teach you to post, teach you to dig, teach you to come back, to curl, all that. Show you what that look like. Show you what the zone defense look like. Show you what the man we can teach you that stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm more interested in is teaching you life outside of this, because my plan for these kids are bigger than football. I'm trying to set y'all up for life, right? Like in a minute, now y'all getting to that age. So now we're gonna bring y'all here for the ones that want to learn media, the ones that want to do podcasting, the one that's heavy on social media, which a lot. They love TikTok. Especially my girls, bro. They be so they ahead. I always tell them, like, bro, in order y'all want to get ahead, y'all want to be successful. Like, it's small things like treating everybody the same. The guy that held the door for me out there that was, doing y'all landscaping, treat him the same as I'm gonna treat JB.
Right.
Because you my brother, I've known you for 20 plus years, but I'm gonna treat him the same with the same level of respect. And that's how we maneuver through this youth football space. We show up to tournaments, we are who we are. We show up with the logo on. You got 2 jerseys yourself, right? People, man, what's that? Who is that? How they get these uniforms? Why Nike? How Jordan brand?
Right.
Hey, man, it's about treating people right. My relationships with you and with Nike and with Jordan, with Finish Line, with Crocs, all these companies are upheld because of my character.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to teach these kids. Like, bro, I don't burn bridges. I try to keep my relationships genuine and respectful.
And like any industry, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you do have those guys out there that are willing to put themselves first above all, no matter what it will do for a relationship or to a person.
You see it all day.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And so I believe, that, what you're doing, and I really affirm what you're doing, especially because it is for our kids, right? Like it's for our youth, that long term with that mindset, keeping that mindset, keeping that humility, that long term, this will be one of the biggest programs on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to build out. You're going to make a lot of people mad.
Yeah.
But, I do believe God's plan is a real thing. And if he has it for you, he'll bless it and he'll make it beyond whatever you're imagining in your mind for this to become. But one thing you talked about too is just social media with these kids, right?
Yeah.
And there's 2 directions we can go with this conversation, right? One direction is, should they be on it as much as they're on it? Which I'm not really concerned with. That's also up to a parent, right?
Yes. It's 2 sides to it, which I'm on.
It goes both ways.
Sure.
But what I'm more focused on is how important is having a presence on social media for a young athlete.
At this age, right, with now the NIL stuff, like, it's huge because you're at this age, you're developing a following, an audience genuinely. Like, no, you're not committed to Alabama. You're not going to Clemson. You're not going to Ohio State yet.
Yep.
You ain't got to start by your name.
Yep.
You're a kid out here that's having fun. And I think parents, number one, 100%, all parents need to control the social media right now. Don't be on here posting those pictures. Oh, my son going to Oregon, he's committed. That's weird. Don't do that.
Selling your son.
Post the content so people can see that. And I'm also gonna recommend it for the high schoolers that we got. Like, why y'all got 4 pictures? You were 4. Like, I want to see what you was like when you was 10.
Right.
As a recruiter, right? I'm sitting in these rooms.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to go back to your junior high. I saw what he was like when he was 10. So keep those pictures. Let me see your feed. I go to some of these dudes. Oh man, you just heard about the kid going to Notre Dame. He got 1 picture. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, a lot of them are doing that right now.
What the heck is that, bro? Like, no, I want to see what you were like prior to. Right. I want to see what your youth sports was like. I want to see
and there's gonna be some of them that need to hide some of that old stuff.
Yes, because of what
they were doing.
Environment,
right?
I get it.
But they're what it is that it's essentially now your resume.
Yes.
Where even in the workforce, right? Like even if you're young, maybe you're coming out of high school and you're not planning on college. Yeah. Your resume starts with what you have on social media. Oh. I don't look at any paper.
How many?
I don't look what you look like on paper. Like
I'm gonna check you out.
I'm gonna know. I want to know details.
That's like,
and in fact,
they're gonna do the work, bro.
That's the way it goes.
Old tweets, all that.
That's the way it goes. It's probably more likely for a recruiter to contact one of your closest friends on social media or somebody that's on your post that you got a lot of posts with before they contact your school counselor.
Yep. More likely NFL gonna sit that guy down. What was y'all doing in that car ride? Like, clean it up, but like, I want to make it like you not hide. I'm not hiding nothing.
Right.
So that's that side. Now for the other side is the content. What you put out, the quality of that, which is, I'm speaking to my Nike Dark Side page, right? I always tell people, they like, man, who doing how, like, y'all jersey drops, bro? Who was shooting it? Like, I'm gonna pay Austin. He did a shoot for it. Like, you gotta pay the money to look a certain way. Right. I knew when I went for the rebranding when we were the Gladiators, and I knew, like, all right, we get the Nike Dark Side. We get to go from that, right? The green light. We going Nike Dark Side. All right, how am I going to use my previous experience? Designing, we got it. Jerseys, don't even worry about it. Yeah. Best jerseys.
We always going to have the best
jerseys. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah. Before we jump back into the video, I would really appreciate it if you took the time to thumbs up this video. Liking the post will help the platform share our video as well as grow our community. Also, if you haven't already, tap subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Get alerts when everything drops. It's best to know what we have going on. And if you're interested in becoming a Wealthy Creator full-time, visit wealthycreator.com. where we can help you with your needs and wherever you're at in your journey of content creation. Now, let's jump back into the episode.
As far as content goes, I was like, okay, how can I, through youth sports, right? Like, they're not adults, but I need to still identify and communicate a certain type of content that's going to separate me from this team, that team over there. Like, great programs, but what's going to separate us?
Right.
When you look at our page, on every messages we get, bro, that shoot y'all did up in the mountains. Like, I'm gonna push the envelope every time.
And what I'm seeing now is other teams making their attempt at it.
Yeah.
Right. Because what happens is you set a tone, and now I have to do it. Right. What wasn't important before has now become important, and it just goes back to the point of, is it actually important for the athlete? Like, yes, it is now. You cannot just be a good athlete anymore. Yeah. Just doesn't, like, yes, you will get opportunities.
That worked for us. Like, right. It works to just be.
Right. But now with NIL, all these different opportunities that kids are getting, if you want a piece of that pie, you're going to have to make good content. You're going to have to be presentable and sellable for these brands to be a part of it.
And it's a standard, though, Jay. You think about it like, all right, you grooming these kids for shoots, how to be in front of camera, how to talk to people.
Yeah.
How to do little interviews. Like, the videos we got is all grooming, because now when you go do a high school, you go to Gorman. Just say, throw it out there, Gorman, right?
Yep.
Now this boy know how to talk in front of the camera. He know how to, he's respectable. There's no, I think, no.
Yeah, no Kawhi Leonard.
No, how do you feel about this? This is your yard. You had this many yards, blah, 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 blah. Your background, he's well-groomed. And it's an expectation. You come through Nike Dark Side, you leave. So I go to the next program, I expect this.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, it's going to feel different, and I'm not going to like it as a player, because all our kids we train them, we talk to them, we teach them off the field. Like, it's about just being elite in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be elite in life. Like, forget on the field, that's easy work, right? We win tournaments, we lose tournaments, but we win a lot. And these boys, the boys and the girls start creating things in their head. And it's like, okay, as adults, how can I use my past experience to kind of groom these kids for what they're about to see?
Right.
Right. So our girls, they already going out and working out with the USA flag team, like for Olympics in 2028.
Yeah, see.
Because they'll be 17 right now. You know what I'm saying? They'll be 16.
Yeah.
They'll be able.
Yeah.
So it's like grooming them so y'all can be respectful. Act like y'all been somewhere, seen some stuff before type mindset.
Yeah, because there's something about being well-spoken, presentable, right, that makes you more attractive than the athlete that can't do any of that. Yep. Right? Like this person may be a better athlete than you and may have more potential long term than you. But right now, I can put you up in front of and actually represent something. When you talk about the USA, that's a representation. They're not just taking and accepting just any athlete, right? Like you have to have be held to a certain standard to be able to do that. And I think it's good that they're getting it early. Like we didn't get it this early. Like we were at the park playing, talking crazy to each other, sometimes fighting each other, right? Like we didn't get any of that. And so when we got to college, it was kind of a culture shock to us a little bit on how to actually have represent and have a real standard, right? Like I remember the first time I had to wear a tie to a game, I was like, what is this?
On the bus, on the way to
team
pictures, you like, bro,
what are we doing, right? But this was actually how it should have been. This is actually how I should have been educated for what it was that, you're trying to build. I want to bring up too, it's funny. During this NFL season, I subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs YouTube page with the goal of understanding how they were promoting their athletes. Because what I find interesting about football all the time, like basketball is easy. Everybody can see your face. Yep. Right? Like the entire arena can see what you look like. You're already marketable. You're already on every picture. But your picture as a football player, you may have your helmet on with a mask. I never even see. Yeah, I just see your visor never even shows your face. You're just a number at that point. So it's a little bit, that's why athletes, like retired athletes, get on shows or TV or movies, and you don't necessarily know exactly who they are because you've never actually seen what they look like. One thing I wanted to kind of learn from what they were doing with the Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs are one of the most marketable teams. Granted, they have Patrick Mahomes, but
and not to even talk about the Swifties.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
ridiculous.
What they are doing with the athlete, there's no question about whether or not people know what Travis Kelce looks like. And that was before Taylor.
Yeah, that was before.
Right? You knew what Patrick Mahomes.
That say it different, y'all crazy.
It's before that. I know. They're going, whatever. But they know. We knew these individuals. But then I was looking like, oh man, this one of their videos, which is just a behind the scenes video, hearing Patrick talk to the team, right? Got 6 or 7 million views. Yeah. Right? Which is to me, I'm like, football doesn't do this.
No.
Right? Like it doesn't.
They don't even have that in the actual game reviews.
Yeah, I was like, dang, what is it? And I was like, oh, they're just showing you a piece of stuff that we don't get to normally see. So when you start to present new things, and this goes for every content creator, when you start to show spaces that we don't normally get, visual of or get to be a part of, it immediately attracts. Immediately. There's people on TikTok right now, and I'm sorry I can't remember this guy's name. He literally just vlogs his 9 to 5. He does nothing spectacular. He just vlog his he's literally just vlogging himself day to day. I saw a clip come up. It was just him. It was trash day, bro. He was just taking out his garbage can. But he's vlogging it and he's saying things that are amusing, but it's literally just a vlog of his day to day. His job, he's a normal 9 to 5 job, nothing special about him, nothing unique about how he looks or anything, but he's just putting it out. What it is that you got somebody and a certain amount of people that don't have that experience and never seen that experience before. And you're letting them inside. You're pulling back the curtain and letting them inside of what that looks like to just be a normal guy in America working a 9 to 5. That's what the Chiefs are doing. All right. So I get to hear a conversation that Mahomes had with a teammate that normally I couldn't hear.
That's the key.
I get to listen in when they mic them up and we get to hear them playing. I get to hear they talking crazy to each other, right? They actually are friends. You forget that some of these dudes went to the same college and played on the same team, that even though he's hitting them full force, they get up and they say things to each other, right? Some of them are going to dinner after this, right? You forget those things until you start to see, behind the curtain there. And I'm realizing that if more organizations like yours, more organizations and other teams and other high schools even, start to begin to reveal some of those conversations. If they heard how some of our coaches talk to us, right? Granted, some of them may have been canceled and fired, but it would have shown like this. Okay, this is why Justin's brain works like this. This is why you can't rattle him.
No.
Because he was calling everything in the book when he was just playing youth basketball.
Yeah, we ain't even talking about AAU.
Like this is why. Okay, I can see why he can work in a hostile environment and be okay.
Fast-paced,
I can see why, right? And these are all pieces, right, of that growth. But I think exposing it not only lets the parent know, hey, they're safe here, and you're going to get a lot from it, but it lets every other athlete know, oh, I want to be a part of that program. For what they're representing. Yeah. So like I see it I saw it with the Kansas City Chiefs. I saw it with Last Chance U.
Yes. Right?
Last Chance U was huge for that moment of seeing.
Yeah, we show a couple games, but it was all behind.
Yeah. It's all behind the scenes.
All behind the scenes.
Right? Even the view of the game wasn't how you would see it if you were watching it on TV. It was from the behind the
hearing when
I saw the locker room talk.
I hear when he messed his knee up, I'm hearing it because he was mic'd up.
You could hear it.
Just so happened he ended up tearing his ACL that moment.
Yep. So, and my point of talking about this is because as a creator, you may think that your day-to-day is not post-worthy. Yeah. You may think your day-to-day is not enticing enough to get people attracted to you. Yep. But little do you know that it can be as simple as your call closing a deal that gets you your next one. Yep. It could be as simple as a conversation that you have with a coworker. It could be as simple as a conversation that you have with your boss. It could be those small little details that get you to your next level or where you're trying to go. Yeah. So let me say this, and I thought of this as I'm going, but we're gonna talk because I want to do something for Dark Side in media. Yeah. And these are for those individuals that want to be around the sport, but may not necessarily either have the resources, the tools, or the skill. Yeah. There is space for you if you are interested in media, because I do believe that those individuals that can begin to maybe hold their own, reporter style video, can hold their own documenting, capturing B-roll.
You see the little kid Jeremiah?
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah, he's doing a ton.
They interviewed.
He was all over the Super Bowl.
When you were there shooting our Leap event, he interviewed me right after the game. Yeah. He was on, but that kid, a kid that he wasn't blessed to play the sport, so he took his love for it, and now he's everywhere. Yeah,
bro. I can even see my own son doing that.
Yes.
Because as much as Noah loves to run, play, and like
football, basketball, he loves it all.
He loves it all.
He also good at the camera.
But when he picks that up and just does it, I'm like, okay, because he's paying a lot of attention to what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I can see, like, I'm gonna let him grow, but I'm like, I can see how this can be a thing for him. So it's those pieces. Yeah. But I think most of all, what I want to offer eventually, and we'll talk more off camera, but maybe there's a situation where they get some real training and some real education, and we partner in that way. But yeah, so this is, again, how important it is for an athlete to have that creative is just as important for any entrepreneur, any business owner. Have that media space for yourself that will then allow you to kind of grow and excel in that way.
I think, and to your questioning, the thing about the 49ers, bro, for us, it was, and I think that's what kind of catapulted us away from everybody else. Not only how we was taking pictures of the kids, but when I started doing a mic up, all right, a day in life with Zai or DJ, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, now you letting their crowd or people that like this kid hear what DJ is like in practice or what Zai's like in practice. Yeah. And then I do they know the 90s? Of course they don't know the 90s. They were just born 9 years ago. But it's amazing to see that they don't even know what a telephone from the wall is. That's our most viewed video.
Of course.
We probably at between TikTok and Instagram over 200K views.
I bet.
Went ridiculous. And it was just me hand-picking kids, asking them. I asked them who Flavor Flav was. They thought it was Lil Wayne.
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff is like, okay, what separates? Take the time. Like at the end of the day, they're kids. We can drill them all day. Football, we're not worried about that. We'll teach all that stuff. But at the end of the day, let's start having some fun with this thing and growing this thing to be opportunities. I got kids with a lot of hair. Let's get some head and shoulders deals. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Yeah, why can't you?
Why can't I? That's what I mean. Like, so let's put some money in some of these parents' pocket and let's teach them the ways of like, okay, this is how you should be handling social media, your child's social media. Yeah. This is what it should look like.
Yeah. How do you yourself separate when you got recruiters coming, when you got individuals reaching out, how do you separate the good from the bad in that? I know from experience that there are individuals that are looking for opportunities for themselves through a child, so and not necessarily
player. How do I separate good and bad?
Yeah, with any type of recruiter or coach that's trying to reach out.
So like again, we at Game Changers a lot. We go up to Gorman, Coach Brown, and I talk to him all the time, just as far as like brain picking information. But like for me, I vet the kids that's there. If we got 4 practices, I'm trying to see who coming to all 4 practices on time. So now when Coach Brown say, hey, Mark, I'm looking for when they get to 13, 14 you. The freshman varsity, junior varsity coach is like, okay, I'm looking for a kid, committed to come to Gorman. Oh, I'm going to remember those kids and parents that ain't committed to the program. We got 4 practices. You only come to once and then expect to play. It's not going to fly at the next level.
Right.
So Coach Wilkins, I can't lay my neck on the line for you, and I know what type of player. Most of those players will be gone by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like we can't move that way.
Yeah.
It's either you all in or you're not. And it's fine if you're not, you can go to the next thing. I'm not gonna lose no sleep over it, because like I said, I can go get a kid that really wants this opportunity to be here and that's gonna show up every single day and teach him everything football related. Me and my coaching staff, amazing coaches, bro. Amazing coaches, the way that they speak life into the kids, the way that they talk to the kids, they football knowledge alone. Like we could teach you everything else. So I want the kids that want to be here and want to play for Nike Darkside. I don't want them to just, we're here for the opportunity, because that ain't gonna cut it. I want to see what your character is like.
Right.
I want to see how hard you work each rep, how you talk to your teammates. I want to see how you talk about your teammates. When they drop a pass, what you doing?
Yeah.
How do you lead the workout? Are you working out outside of our time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was huge for us.
Yeah, for sure.
We show up in the weight room, but how many times did we actually go to the weight room on our own, go play pickup? Yeah. We was always doing something.
We spent more time doing it outside of the organized than we did in the organized. I can't
expect Cap to get me better, bro.
No.
We did nothing to get us better. It was just work on the trap, work on here,
Right.
But outside that, Jay, let's go get 100 shots.
I had to go get it.
100. Let's make 100.
Yeah, that was one thing I was just, having that conversation with even some of our guys here. You have to, it becomes a point where you're like, okay, am I going to sit here and just allow things to come to me and happen for me? Yeah. Or am I going to take the opportunity? Yeah. Right? Because I challenge them. I go, all right, you all, Ryan's in the Philippines for a week. Right? What do we need to complete while he's gone and have that time where we're not stopping consistently to film him or do things? Right? So here's a to-do list. How much of this are we going to get done? Right? Because I've seen you all crank at the last minute when you all, were on your time crunch and trying to get something done on a due date. So I know what you're capable of.
Right. Yeah.
But can you execute in that way for full time? Yes. Because those are the people that win. Right? One of the things I pride myself on with this team is our goal is to be the most exceptional team of creators for one organization. I hope that when anybody sees a product from us or anybody sees us working, they know that, okay, this is a little bit different. This is elite.
Yeah.
Right? Because my ultimate goal is for them to go on and do their own things, to run their own, right? Like my goal is not to keep them here.
Yeah, and essentially, you a coach in your own right.
You have to be
a coach in your own right with the team. And I'm just trying to set you up.
But you can call it what you want, whether and this is for everybody. If you're in a manager role, you're a coach.
Yep.
If you're a coach, you're managing, right? Like it's just how it is. Like it goes hand in hand, whether it's business or it's sports, right? And so like, again, you got to challenge your guys to do these things, right? Because it just makes them better every single time. Tell the people how many teams you now have. When I was around, and you started it in 2020, it was one.
When we went from 2018, 2019, 2020, one team.
Yeah.
That's when we made the transition to Gladiators to Darkside.
Yep.
We had one team, and at that point, we was still 6U, 7U.
Right.
Now we up to 8 total.
8 teams.
8 total teams. That's between tackle, 7-on-7, girls, 7-on-7, girls, 5-on-5, 2 girls teams, 8U, 7U, 6U, all the way down, so we expanding pretty fast. And I get a lot of the messages I get is about older kids. Hey, can you do a 13U, 4? Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm real passionate about I'm passionate about all of them, but that first wave that I'm going to give to the world, that I'm going to give off to the Gormans and, through Game Changer, wherever they go.
Yeah.
My girls even, when they go to Liberty or or Shadow Ridge or wherever, like I'm passionate about them group of kids. Because like it's like with you, like I'm sensitive about my stuff. To me, Dark Side is like my sixth.
Yeah,
child.
exactly.
So like, I'm not playing about where they're going. If you lead a program, I'm still gonna support you, like, because everybody ain't cut out for what we doing.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying we military, but it's tightening up.
There's a standard.
As you get older, it's a standard that I have as a respect level. It's the way I talk to kids, the way parents can talk to me, talk about me in my program, right? Like, we not doing that.
Right.
And again, if you have to move on, you got to move on. But like, I'm passionate about these kids, man, and the first wave of them. I think this is going to be the first group we see like to go do big things as far as Nike Dark Side.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I'm excited to see it happen, bro. Like I'm excited because I've gotten to see them for so long.
Like little kids, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know.
Here's a thought for you though too, because as you've gotten more teams, got more youth and more kids to come join the program, and I'm sure you get every day somebody reaching out, and it may mean that you need to build another team and get another. Right, as you continue to scale. Are there any concerns about the hostility that comes surrounding the sports?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about, and I know you, so I know how we manage it. Yeah. But tell me, or give advice to other coaches and other people that have to manage that part of that aspect of running the type of organization that you're running. Yeah,
organization. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna speak from a sports point of view, but this applies because, like, I mean, you got. Real estate is a rough.
It's cutthroat.
Doggy dog, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like in sports, for me, it's like how do you deal with the chaos of being elite, having elite kids. And this is me and you talking. Right. I'm talking to the world. I don't ever sit down. I speak life into my kids, but I don't ever go anywhere. We the best. We this, we that, we show up, we ain't. Yeah. No. We got to work for it. Because any given day, we can get it handed to us. Bro. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. Oh, yeah. We got to show up and show them we are who we say we are. Mm-hmm. We got to show up and show them that these logos and our name, it means something. We got to show up and stand on business, right? Yeah. Like, we cannot be, I'm never going to be like, we the best, we this. But when you get in these spaces, I'm going to speak to 7-on-7 because that's, tackle football, flag football, got nothing on 7-on-7. Mm-hmm. And 7-on-7, 7-on-7 might outweigh tackle, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna just be real, okay? Because we literally just had a tournament this weekend, and it got crazy. Yeah, it got crazy out there where people when you this is the thing, when you outdo somebody, outplay somebody in sports, in life, in anything. And this situation, we out football the team. I always tell my boys, when they can't outdo you in football, when they can't outrun you, when you're faster than them, when you're stronger than them, when you're more physical than them, when you're better than them, they try to play with you here and test you mentally, see how mentally strong you are. Even when you beat them there, now I got to put hands on you.
Yeah, it gets physical. Yeah, and the reason I asked that question is because we saw that happen
same weekend,
for Cam Newton and his 7-on-7, organization that he runs and that he puts on. I mean, I don't know all the details of it. I don't believe that those were kids, but I have seen other videos of kids antagonizing an NFL quarterback,
MVP.
Yeah, like one of the best to do it. So, I mean, like I don't quite understand it, but what it did for me is made me think, what is it about 7-on-7s that brings that type of energy?
It's and I'm gonna get straight to the point. It's he mic'd up. Oh, I'm about to strap this blank. Beep, 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 beep. Like, my guy, you trying to go to college? Right. Because right now you're doing everything. You showing me everything in your character that as a coach and as a scout, like I said, it's my job as a youth program director to sit in these rooms, go in meetings and just be, bro, what they looking for. With the portal, I'm not going to go get a high school kid that's like, yo, I'm going to go get somebody in that portal that already check all them boxes. You out here, beep, beep. You saw the one, Cam. You suck. Cam, like, I'm I'm rich.
Yeah, I did it already.
I did it. What you doing?
What you trying to get to, I've done.
Like, brother, you're in my event.
Yeah.
So like, my thing is, it starts there. The content, they coaches are paying camera guys out instead of create a highlight reel for me.
Right.
No, it's follow this kid around, bro. Mm-hmm. Put a mic on him, follow him around, and you see it.
And it's making him perform.
It's making him
for that camera
be out of character. It make him get out of character because I know I'm mic. And you hear it sometimes. Hey, bro, they go to side like, hey, bro, I'm mic'd up. Just to let his friend know. Don't go too
far. Yeah.
Because I'm mic'd up. You shouldn't even have to do that because them type of kids I don't want and I'm not gonna have. Mm-hmm. Like I tell my boys, y'all score a touchdown. Don't pat nobody on their head. Don't throw no ball at nobody. Mm-hmm. Celebrate. Get a ball. Walk that ball to the ref. My own son, he already know. I see you celebrate, bro. Get that ball to the ref and act like you done scored a touchdown.
Like you've done it before.
So a sack. When you get a sack, do your little thing, but get back to the line, bro. Yeah. But it's character, Jay, and it's the lack of this. It's grown men that's not able to lead young men in the right way, and that's all it was. And I saw those. They came out. It's a video out. I don't know. Maybe you posted. It's a video of the two guys. They were grown men. They say,
I think they were men.
Cam talk crazy. So you let words do that.
Take you there. Yeah, and I think I think it's funny, right? So I look at 7-on-7s differently because I also see like my algorithm pushes some of this stuff to me, and I see like when Destroying comes to town and he throws them right. What 7-on-7s represent to me is allowing individuals to do everything that they don't do during the season. Yep. So the celebrating, the backflipping,
and it's all right. You see, it's all the skilled, little short, athletic kids. It ain't no linemen, nothing.
Right. And I understand it from the perspective of media. Like it makes for entertaining media, but for the sport, it's already a hostile sport.
Football,
so it's really interesting to see how they have taken what they know gets a lot of views. And it's like every time we just continue to exaggerate that. A lot of views. I want to talk a little bit about that too, because, going back to even the Super Bowl, right? And I was paying close attention to like the commercials and the different media that they were putting on, the things that they have to do now in order for people to watch it. Mm-hmm. Obviously this one, the whole Taylor thing. So we got a lot of people that were just casuals watching. But even beyond that, I saw Kanye put out a commercial. It was pretty funny because I was like, he's still got it. Like he still understands this media game. Like no matter what the music does, because we can have arguments all day on music on whether or not it's good or bad, but how he's able to have impact and create that moment like we talked about earlier is so interesting to me. So he has this video and we could probably play it hopefully, but he has this video and he's literally telling you, I spent $7 million on this commercial slot.
Film the front on his iPhone.
So I didn't have any money to actually film a commercial from a phone that looked like an Android. Camera phone. And I believe it was edited that way. It was like intentionally to look bad, right? But I read somewhere in the first 24 hours, he sold $19 million in product. I got mine coming. I bought them just because I just want to see what they are, bro. Like, it's not making any sense to me.
Size 3? Yeah.
And I literally did. Size 3, legit. I literally didn't buy them until I saw that he had sold so much. Yes. Because I was like, let me just see what $19 million worth of product. Let me just see what people are about to get.
Shirts was a dub. Pants was a dub.
Like everything for $20, which was genius as well. Yeah. Right. But I was just curious. Like, so, and I asked myself, okay, for $7 million, would I take that chance to get 19, to get 20 million? Absolutely. In 24 hours. Yeah. That don't even count my sale. Like that don't even count my $20 that I sent over there. Right. So it's funny, but it's interesting to see how media can work in that way. But it all spoke to just building your own brand. Mm-hmm. And I think even when it comes to athletes, when it comes to no matter what industry you're in, having that brand authority and that power will lead to things of such, right? Where you can take something so simple and make something out of it. And it also represented that you don't have to have the greatest quality of video every single time. Now, his music videos may be a different story, how much money is spent on that. Yeah. But doing that video for free from his phone with no editing, just some text, right? I read in the comments, somebody was like, him saying for them few seconds cost him $2 million. Yeah. I was like, he literally just said for like 2 seconds of the video, right? So it's like all those things were pretty cool to see. But I was like, man, this means that the stronger that you can build that brand authority and that awareness, it takes less pressure off of actually growing a business because the business will excel from all of that awareness.
You have to use, and essentially that's leverage, right?
Yeah.
He used the leverage of that commercial to push it somewhere else, and that's the same thing you want to do with your content. Like, don't stop us here. If I got short form video and I got a site or I'm selling merch or I got YouTube.
Yeah.
You want to shoot me the short form to drive me to your YouTube, which is the same thing I do with Dark Side. It's like, okay, I put all this content out to drive kids that's not a part of my program to my camp, which is free.
Right.
So now, first year, 200 kids. Second year, 600 kids. Mm-hmm. This year, I'm expecting I want to hit 1,000.
Yeah, you'll hit that easily.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to keep growing, and it ain't to put $1 in my pocket, but how I gauge my success with this is how many opportunities I can provide for kids, which is the same, how many views I can get, how many subscribers I can get. You know what I'm saying? So that idea, what Kanye did was genius.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, you take that leverage and drive them. You drove them right to the site, which is like, bro, you selling 20,000, you selling $19 million worth of socks with a little rub on it.
Just crazy.
Hey, but people getting them, like you said. That's size 3. I might have to go grab me a size 3.
Me a size 3, right?
Size 3.
All right, man. Tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. Tell any parent that is looking to get their kids involved, how they can reach you, and where they can follow you.
Personal, Mark Wilkins 22 on Instagram. Like Jay said, I've been on my personal Instagram is all for the family right now.
We're going to get them back, y'all.
Yeah, I'm going to get back. I'm going to come back outside. I'll just be chilling. But no, at Nike Dark Side on Instagram. And that's where you can find the program. You can find myself. And any parents that's, West Coast, anywhere you want to fly out to a camp, come. It's 100% free. We always about giving back to the community.
What's those dates?
We're going June 1st. June 1st, Las Vegas, Nevada. Also, March 30th, this month, next month, we're having the O-line, D-line camp, which is also free for the big boys.
Get them big boys out there.
They don't get them enough credit, bro. Like, honestly, all these running back, 1,000-yard seasons, CMC wouldn't be CMC without that line.
Don't happen.
He's special, but he wouldn't be CMC without that line. So make sure y'all praising those big boys, man. Y'all got any kids that we do trainings, basketball, football, maybe branching out baseball soon.
All right. Y'all heard it.
Or maybe soon.
Okay.
But that's how you can find us, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, dog. My guy, pleasure to have you, bro.
All I love. Thank you.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, get alerts every time we drop something. Be sure to like this so that we can get this shared and get this out. And I just appreciate you all for staying and stopping through. It's been another episode of What's a Creator Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Berry, and I'll see you next time. Peace.